welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
And remember, our goal is always to guide you to personal and financial wellness.
Well, happy Saturday and welcome to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we are so excited. Remember, we've always had the goal of helping guide you to personal and financial wellness, and we keep trying to raise the bar, and our new bar is the Interview with the Giants. And maybe you've heard a couple of these series, but our goal for Gino and I, after doing over 6 years of great interviews with some of the top professionals in Santa Clarita, we've now reached out across the nation to interview some of the top entrepreneurs involved in anything from real estate to businesses to developing businesses to growing businesses. A lot of the names you'll know, some of you won't, which is really cool because you're going to learn some really fantastic stuff from some great people that are like you and I, that just started businesses and have an entrepreneurial spirit. And we're interviewing them because you're going to get some pearls of wisdom, some motivation, and our goal with Interview with the Giants is to inspire.
Yeah, and the idea here also is, like you said, Don, you are going to run into some of the big household names that you've heard before, but you know, those are kind of the same tried and true, and maybe you've heard those CDs before, or you've heard that story before. If I watch Tony Robbins one more time, I think I'll puke. I need something new and fresh, and like you said, from the little guy that worked hard and became that, not the super mega speaker.
Yeah, and be careful. He's not a little guy. He will crush you.
Banana hands, yeah.
Banana hands, yes. Yeah. And you hear our guest laughing in the background because she is... we do pre-interviews, and I love these because I really get to know our guests, and we promised you it wouldn't be just, a shot in the dark. We're going to really put some real effort into this to help you. And what's nice is Linda's involved in the real estate business, but she's created a great program and a great tool for a lot of real estate investors that I thought was really unique. On top of that, she's a speaker and an author on top of that. So she's a go-getter, but she's like you and I. We talked and laughed and joked and have the same, challenges and sacrifices and excitement. And boy, this lady has a lot of energy. You're going to find that. So without further ado, we're going to bring on our guest with Interview with the Giants. And we're talking with Linda Liberatore. And she's got a great program she's worked out. But we're going to get to know Linda a little bit more. Linda, you on the line?
She doing her thing, from seminars to helping others, bringing that grain and investment, property, management, expert. If you want to know when she'll stop.
I'm here. Thank you so much for inviting me. What an honor.
No,
very great to meet both of you.
You say that now. The interview just started.
Okay. Oh, hopefully.
No, and you look great. We just so you know, what's cool is we're Skyping these interviews, so you get to see our guests and be part of it, and you can be part of our show by going to donandgino.com, click on the live streaming button, and voila, you enter our Vault Media Studios. You can check out our brand new logo for Interview with the Giants. I think it's pretty darn cool.
It is pretty darn cool.
All right, so Linda, we're going to jump on in, and we're going to get to know you a little bit better and about what products you've kind of created and whys, and we're really excited because we're going to find out what inspired you, what you do for fun, and we're going to throw some curveballs at you a little bit just to see, keep you on your toes, okay?
Okay, all right, I'm ready.
All right,
my best.
First, we'll start off, as we said, we're reaching out nationally, and you are not located right here in good old Los Angeles, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm just outside of the Chicago area.
Oh, wow, you're on the other side.
The other side, yeah, the middle side, I know.
What's the name of your city, Schaumburg or?
Schaumburg, yeah.
Schaumburg,
we stay just outside of Chicago. That's how you have to. Anybody that's traveling from Schaumburg or any of the surrounding suburbs of Chicago always refers to themselves as Chicago when they're out and about, right?
Well, we're just outside of Los Angeles.
That's right. We use that same trick right here.
Yeah. Dead serious, we do. Because we're in a city called Santa Clarita, and it's like just outside of Los Angeles. Same kind of thing.
Otherwise, people go, where?
Well, we welcome you to a show, and As we said, you're a speaker now, an author, a motivator. But what started this whole thing? Because you're kind of a techie too, so you all of a sudden got into helping out real estate investors. Am I right?
Yes, I did. So kind of back in I'll call it a former life, I was doing a lot of technology training at the time, and some of the people that I was working with, helping them with their real estate investments, started asking me like, which technology would you recommend? You know, if you've owned real estate property, you know the biggest thing is organization, right? So you're
Or
looking
lack
for
thereof.
something. Yeah, yeah, exactly. We still get that, and it's 2017. Amazing, really. So that's what they asked me to do, was start taking a look at this technology, and I got involved with a very cool startup company out of New York City, and so I kind of was combining those thoughts in my head, like, boy, the real estate investors could really use, that help with. And at the time, the ACH debits were just coming out, and there wasn't a lot of options for that. So I just thought, wow, this would really help them to keep everything, all the software, because it moved over from, if you remember, I'll date myself and say CD-based versus, web-based applications. And I thought that was so cool to be able, because that was a low barrier, cost to entry. Not everybody would go out and invest in, server-based software, enterprise-based software when you're a small landlord.
So
So, web-based was great.
I'm gonna do the best I can to not have this be a therapy session for me, since I've been managing property since 2002. But reality is exactly what you just discussed was a real problem of mine. I tracked the lease dates in Excel, when I could raise the rent in Excel, and when the rent got paid in Excel with a check mark. Very, very high-tech stuff. And the way that happened is I delegated it to my wife, and she did it whenever she felt like it, whenever she thought it was important, so I wouldn't serve my 3-day notices on time, and it always ended up being a problem at home because I didn't have a system. So I would have benefited greatly from having a software system to help us.
Yeah, and you know what? It's interesting you say that, because I don't know, just where you are and what you do with different software and stuff today, but we still refer to that. I kind of coined the Excel queen because I love Excel. I mean, that
So
was
do
my
we.
thing, data analysis, etc. But the problem is, the way I describe it is, it's not living and breathing. So these web-based applications, that if I get a payment at 2 and you log on at 2:05, you would know that that particular payment's already been received. So your wife, let's say it comes off of her checklist by default. But when we download things and we go ahead and put them in Excel, that becomes a problem, because that file is no longer a living free, it's no longer accurate. It's only as accurate as the last time you printed it or downloaded it.
Hence why I needed to end up going with a management company to make life easier for us.
Well, what's really nice is that you worked with a program. You helped create this program, and in the next, we're going to have to go to a break here in a little bit, and we'll go into details about what your program. So, if you just joined us, we're speaking with Linda Liberatore, and she's got a great program called Secure Pay One that helps real estate investors that don't want to take that next leap to a full-time property management company, because that could add an additional expense. And sometimes, I bet you can attest to this, Linda, some people's margins are probably pretty small when they're trying to become real estate investors. Am I right?
Absolutely. When they start out, it's all about the margins, and it's tough. I'm sure Gino can attest to that. When you first get started, you got to get some traction,
Yeah. Here in California, it takes about a decade to become profitable. You have to wait for
Yeah.
rent inflation to finally take over. Here we don't buy for cash flow in California. You buy for cash flow in Texas, Arizona, other places. But here we buy for appreciation. So cash flow is always tight. So it took me a decade to be able to afford a management company.
And that's great. That's a sincere answer, because so many times, especially when I'm at these different meetings, people make it sound like it's overnight. I don't know that that's just cash flow. Depending on the properties and the amount of maintenance involved, et cetera, it definitely can take 10 years. I don't think you're unique,
All right, so we're going to go to a quick break here, Linda. And when we come back, we're going to go into detail a little bit about who is using your product, who needs your product and how do you help the everyday investor really organize, track, maintain their properties, because it's a definitely a challenge, and I'll attest to it too, because I'm now have my own real estate investment, and boy, I'm so glad I'm not handling it all on my own. So stay tuned. Linda will be right back with some great information you're going to want to hear about.